Hi everyone, welcome to part 5 in this Fun with Flowers series from Summer Nights by Hanna Karlzon using Polychromos pencils. I've decided to do this smaller one down here today. Here we go, and I thought we'd do it in some blues. I just felt it looked like a blue flower. It sounds very strange, but that's what I felt. So let me just... my water bottle's in the way, there we go. Right, I am thinking the sort of cobalt blues. Well, these actually, sky blue, the ultramarines in the Polychromos, they look like cobalt blues to me. Anyway, excuse me. I'm going to start looking at the shape of the flower and the way it is, and that has influenced me to think I'm going to start with a light layer all over, because I want to look at these, put some darker areas in around where these lines are and things, or where these overlaps are, and I think it'll be much easier for me, sky blue, if I get a layer of colour down so I can work out what's where, which bits of these little round centre bits, and which parts are petal and things like that. And if I can just get a light layer, so if you're doing this nice and light layer around, so that I can sort of figure out what's going on, really think about the shape of the petal, and you know, where's going to be lighter and where's going to be darker, so it can be easier just to have a bit down. And then for some parts of the flower this might be the only layer of colour it has, and for some parts we'll layer up with darker colour, so it all depends. That's quite a thin petal. I thought that was a bit of one, but it's a whole thin petal. I always find these where it's turned over, I always find that really difficult to know quite how to colour it, because there'll be a bit of a shadow under there and this dips in, and you know, it's quite confusing, but I'm going to give it a good go. We'll see how it looks at the end. Well, it's always weird because you've seen the thumbnail, so you know what it looks like already, so whereas I've got no idea. But we'll see. So I hope everyone's doing okay. I hope everyone's finding a bit of time to do some relaxation, some hobbies of some sort, just taking some time out to chill. You know, I think often in modern day there's a lot of pressure to always be doing something, you know, something productive, and it can make life feel difficult, but make sure you find time to slow down and just do something a little more relaxing, a little easier, a little, you know, more fun. And yeah, you don't always have to be ultramarine doing something. You can just chill. There, you can just chill. That's light ultramarine in front of the TV, you know, if you want to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just do some darker bits around where I think it would be a little darker, but not actually going to draw in any defined shadowing at this point. I'm just going to make it a bit darker near the bottom, because I want it to look like the petals are tipped up a bit, so there's depth in the centre. So by making this darker, it'll look more shadowy, or hopefully look like this centre is deeper than these that are curling round. That's, hang on. Yeah, so it's often tempting to think, right, well, I need to be doing some cleaning, some washing, I need to be cooking, I need to be doing something to earn some money, I need to be, you know, making something or whatever, you know, but you don't sometimes need to rest as well. I know, you know, we get told you need to exercise, you mustn't sit about, but then you get told you need to rest, you need to recover, or you know, de-stress. And it's like, ah. It's almost like there's pressure to relax sometimes. But it's just finding a balance, isn't it? Making sure that you have some hobbies that you can do that help you to feel a little more relaxed. Whether you're working 9 to 5 with a long commute and got a family to look after and lots of housework, or whether you're retired and maybe disabled and having to rest and sit around and just look after yourself a bit. You know, we all have stressors and we all need to try and find time to look after ourselves. I feel self-care is so important. If I've just realised that one of those two bits is a bit of this, I think that bit is a bit of that. I might do this dark anyway, so it might not matter anyway. So we're getting there. I'm going to come back in with my light colour. This is the sky blue, and I'm just going to try and blend that in a bit more. So I'm going to start here and just add a bit more sky blue to this sort of more central area. But I want to leave those tips quite pale. Yeah, I always think that we can't be the best version of ourselves if we're forever on the go and we don't take any time to do something fun for ourselves or relax or whatever. I need some me time. So on my own time, you know, at times. Right, and now we're in with our darkest blue, the ultramarine. What I'm going to do is have a look at these folds and put in some shadows and things. I'm going to start here where the leaves overlap and put in a bit of shadow there. And then just put in some lines and see how it works. I'm only marking out a few lines, and I may leave it with just lines, or I may put a bit more colour in. Well, I just want to do it gradually. Yeah, so what I find is when I go out for a walk, if I go out on my own, it gives me a bit of me time. I do get time in the house on my own when everyone's out. Not at the moment because it's holidays. But so that's when I go out on my own. There are people who don't like their own company. They don't need time on their own. That's absolutely fair. We're all different. I think it's because I'm always sort of thinking about what everyone's doing, trying to help them, that sort of thing. You know, when they're not here, they have to just get on their own. I guess it's a bit of out of sight, out of mind as well, but I can't be, I think probably get too involved in everybody else really, but there we go. Right, I am just concentrating on going around the edges of these. Now these dip in, see how that dips in there? I'm going to colour that in a little bit darker to really emphasise that dip, and then I'm thinking maybe it would continue into this leaf, and maybe that's what those lines are, that the whole leaf is is dipped in like that. So maybe that's how it should be. And I'm looking at this one, trying to work that out, because we've got an out there and an in there. I'm confused by this one. Maybe it's a bit darker there and there, maybe. And this one here. That one maybe there. as I said, I do get a bit confused. I'm going to put some darker bits coming up a bit more, a bit thicker lines, just to sort of really define some shape and pattern. I think I can hear my son singing. There we are. Oh, it's not too bad. I think we need a bit more definition in there. Maybe in here. Just sitting back and having a look. As I said the other day, you need to sit back and look from a distance, as well as this way. Now, the centre. I'm wondering whether to go. I think I'm going to use. Oh, I can't grab it. The indigo, dark indigo. I was going to go black, but I think that's a little bit too much. And I'm going to try. I'm going to put down a light layer of the dark indigo. Sounds a little bit counter oxymoron, but I want the edges to be darker in the centre. And then I'm so thirsty all of a sudden. What time is it? Yeah, it's nearly 9 o'clock. I usually have a drink. Oh, about 9:30. Right, now I'm going to go around the edge of each one in a darker, same dark indigo, but just a more concentrated layer. Around, and hopefully it has sort of helped to define each individual one. Now they've obviously got a bit of a black line around them anyway. And we can just go around each one. And hopefully it will give us enough of a contrast from the blue below. I'm pretty sure it will. My son was just chattering away about his assignment to his dad. These two down here need a little bit more. Now this is a bit more effective when you've got a slightly larger area, but I'm still quite pleased with how it's looking. So that's good. I'm just going to fiddle around a bit more. I can hear an emergency service vehicle going by. Get quite a lot of ambulances around here because we're really quite close to the hospital. And we've got a crossroads at the top of the road, so they often beat their horns and things going by. I'm just wondering whether to use, I'm going to try this. It might spoil the whole thing, so you might not want to copy me. This is the Paynes Grey, and I'm going to use it to put in a little bit of extra shadow between the petals. As I say, it might be a bit much. I just feel like I want that a little bit of separation. And I'm just going quite gently. Yeah, particularly here, this one doesn't really show up very much. There we go. There. Now you could put a bit of shadow underneath this centre bit, but I think it, because it's quite dark, if you try and make it dark under there, it's gonna, you make the seed bits merge into the shadow and you won't actually see them. I am just going to grab the sky blue, and there's a bit here where it looks a bit pale. I'm just gonna, I think I've just missed a bit. Now you could put some dots of white on these to make them stand out, but I think it's going to look a little bit odd. I'm going to finish it there, actually. I'm happy with how it looks. I'm not quite sure if I've got the curls of the leaves and the overlap bits quite right, but you know, it's okay. I think it looks pretty, and there's some texture and depth there, so I'm happy. So I'm going to let that be the end of that one. Tomorrow we have got our giant one to do, so I've got to think about the colour. Ooh, not sure. I think I know, just plotting. And I'll show you a different way of doing the centre, because the centre is quite similar to the sunflower, but we'll do it in a different way so that you've got a different method. But for today, thank you for watching. I hope that you have a really super day and happy colouring.